everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Rev up those engines. Let's go to a magical place known as Brazil. On this week's episode, I'm going to take you on a journey. My name is Mark.
I'm glad that we were already going on that journey without you. Without our captain speaking. What's up? What's up, Mark? It's Raven here, your co-host. How are you doing? I was just revving the little vroom vroom for you.
Vroom vroom. Man, this franchise is bonkers. This is, I said last week was the hard line in the sand for the Fast and Furious franchise when we talked about 5, and it was truly a turning point. But man, I feel like this one right here was like family. This was family did family.
This was the family of all family.
It was.
Man, but the amount of times that Chris would just like turn around and look at me, and my mouth is just agape as I'm staring at the screen, just like, what am I watching? Yeah, no.
One of the greatest action movies ever of all time.
Whew.
No. But before we get started on all that, Raven, how was your week, man?
It was pretty good. I actually went hiking today for like 3 hours in like 40-something degree weather, but it was really nice. We took mudslide. We went with my aunt and uncle. They took their dog. It was a good time. How you been? What you been up to?
Been pretty good. Work's kind of cooled off a little bit. I might get a chance to go to Arizona next month.
Ooh.
I'm not real sure. We'll see how that pans out. I've never been to Arizona, but I got to go do some stuff with work, and they were like, oh, you might have to go here. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that place existed. It's like just south of Tucson, kind of close to the Mexico border. I'm like, ooh, crazy. Yeah.
Hope you like some dry, some heat, cactus.
Well, at least it's going to be in March, so it's not going to be, it shouldn't be too terribly hot, and it shouldn't be cold, so knock on wood that everything goes good.
Nice. That sounds fun.
So, and other than that, man, everything's just been kind of standard operating procedure around here, man.
Dope. Love that.
So yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think really if anything cool has been going on, and really it just hasn't, man. I mean, just kind of just taking care of the kids and playing Pal World, and I've kind of maxed out on that now. So I'm at that part in a game where it's like you might as well have beat it. And what do you do now?
Not like actual Pokemon where you can, go do your fun little side quests, because you're just like, I just want to hang out with the Pokemon.
See, I don't ever get that far, and I don't ever get that far in a Pokemon game, because once I get about halfway through, I'm just like, I don't want to grind anymore.
I just want to do the side quests. Like, you want me to capture all 100 Digletts that you accidentally lost? I'm on it. And Chris is like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm catching the Digletts. This is the most important part of this game. Getting these Digletts home. Thank you. He's just like, whatever. But I feel you. Wee woo.
I've started rewatching the 2014, I think it is, Voltron. That Netflix did a couple years ago, and I have just falling in love with it, man.
Really?
It has been just so much fun. I don't know what it is about Netflix and rebooting my favorite nostalgia stuff from the 80s with He-Man and Voltron and everything else. But I can sit there. I go to the gym. I go to the gym at work, and I'll get on the elliptical or something like that, and I'll just set my phone up, and I stay on there for 1 or 2 episodes and just zone out. I'm just like, man, this is This is everything I love about Voltron. Yeah, it's been a fun little rewatch. It's a good show, man. If you I don't know if you're even familiar with Voltron, but
I am to an extent,
yeah. But yeah, you if you haven't seen it, you need to check it out.
Yeah, but it's on Netflix.
Yep. Oh,
And
that's right.
We are not fans of Netflix at the moment.
Mm.
Very boycott, very unhap.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, people keep telling us about things that they're watching on Netflix, and I'm like, that's not the only streaming service that's out there, guys.
Well, if I want to watch Netflix exclusives, it is.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel about wanting to watch I Think You Need to Leave by Tim Robinson. Chris and I just like to put it on every now and then just so we can have some good laughs and quote it forever. I put it on last weekend while we were at my grandparents' house and was not sure how that was going to go over with my grandparents, but they had a good time watching it, to be honest. And I was like, man, there's just like a few shows that I'm like, that new Pokemon Concierge.
Oh,
I really want to watch it, but I'm going to have to like find a time when I can go over to my grandparents' house and just stay and binge watch the whole show in one weekend or something.
That entire show is like visual ASMR.
I want to watch it so bad. It looks so cute.
It is. It's adorable, and it's sickening. It's crazy. I started watching it one night as I was getting ready for bed. I was like, man, this is just the coziest thing. If they put wholesome in a show, this would be it.
Oh.
Yeah, you need to check it out.
Darn. I'm going to try.
So, all right, well, let's see. You ready to get into this movie? Because I cannot wait.
Let's full throttle it in and shift 74 gears.
Oh, yes, of course. All right, so this week, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about none other than Fast 5, the fifth or sixth installment in the Fast in the franchise movie. Or no, it is the fifth. That's the reason it's called Fast 5. I forgot they actually count Tokyo Drift. Sorry. It's weird. All right, so yes, Fast 5. Not Fast and Furious 5. Very unique. This is where we start playing with the naming of the movies here. Fast 5. Raven, this was your first time watching it, correct?
Sure was.
What did you think of Fast 5?
Family. That's all this episode was, is, hey, we're bringing the whole crew together. We're family at this point. We start the whole movie off with a giant jailbreak, actually pre-prison break, because this man hasn't even gone to prison yet. They're literally just transporting him, and they're like, yoink, we'll take that back. This is family. We have family time going on. Yeah, no. Like I said, there were so many times that I just had no idea what was coming into my eyeballs and my brain trying to process, what are we looking at here? It was definitely a fun time. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, I'm excited for us to discuss all the stuff that gets into this. Mark, what did you think about Fast 5? I don't know how many times that you've seen it, but I'm sure it's more than once.
More times than I care to admit. I love this movie. This is so dumb and so fantastic that it genuinely is just this kind of movie where the action, previous movies be damned. Okay, we're not keeping up with the themes of any of like this is kind of like the true disconnect of where we don't know where we started. We have forgotten all of that. Like at least the last movie, we kind of went back to the house a little bit. You know, Southern California, Los Angeles was still a set piece. No, absolutely not anymore. We are in Brazil. We are wrecking businesses. We are being absolute menaces to society now. And it is just absurd fun. The Rock shows up and he's just constantly dripping sweat for no reason. Must be super humid in Brazil. This movie is great. And oh God. I'm ready to break this thing down, man. Let's get into it. I guess most notably, we got to shout out Justin Lin, who this is his third time in the directing chair in the Fast and Furious franchise. And to me, this dude is on top of his game in this movie. He's killing it.
He knows what a specific type of crowd wants, and he is fulfilling it 100%.
Very much.
You want crazy? I got you. You want extreme chases? That means that Dom should most definitely be like bruised and scarred and probably a lot of broken bones, but he's not going to because once again, God, he's got that superhero strength. No, we're good. So much crazy stuff just going on in this movie that I was just like, okay. I guess I'm doing the thing that Mark told me where we just shut the brain off. It's fine.
Yes. No more so in this movie than just about anything. You have to shut your brain off. But actually from here and the rest of this franchise, just shut it off and just enjoy this movie. Because, I mean, we start this movie where the last movie left off, and before we even get the title card, we flip a bus. Like, they flip the bus, and it's like, boom, Fast 5. Hold on to your butts, everybody. We're going in.
Dude, this... Yeah, and somehow everyone lives on the bus, and they manage to just, like, pull out one person.
Right.
Okay. That's some black magic you got going on there, but yeah, sure. We're gonna go for it.
It's great because they make it a point as soon as they come out of the title card, hey, this bus flipped, but everyone's okay. And everyone's accounted for except for Dominic Toretto. No, at least one person would have died, but right? They're reporting on Dominic Toretto and Brian like they are El Chapo. Just multiple news outlets, Dominic Toretto. No one knows who Dominic Toretto is.
Dude, he's the John Cena of this franchise. You can't see him.
Oh,
you don't know what he is.
Oh man, Raven.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong, which I think is funny because John Cena shows up in a couple movies. So,
oh god.
All right, so we go from Southern California, or presumably somewhere in California, and boom, we're in Brazil. Brazil is our backdrop for this movie. And right off the bat, Brian and Mia go to the favelas, and they're walking up, and who shows up?
Dickbag Vince?
Yes.
Whew.
First appearance since the first movie. I love that he came back, and I love the fact that he still calls Brian a buster. We are a decade removed from the first movie, and he's like, still a buster. Like, who even says that anymore?
Oh, you know, it's 2011. Somebody's got to be saying it.
I guess.
Ooh.
But I do also like that Vince has moved on with his life. Like, he started his own family. He's found somebody, you know.
Got him a kid.
Yeah, got a kid. I love the small little detail of his arm still being like all ate up and scarred from where he was wrapped around up in the first movie, hanging from that semi truck. That was dope.
I was going to say, if they didn't have something like that after doing that little stunt that he did, they'd be playing. Yeah, but then the whole time they're like, where's Dom? Where is he? I've got a heist. Let's do some crazy shit. And then just Dom fucking shows up in that way that he does, where the train, you know, we're getting to the train part. They're Mad Max Furious roading in this crazy whatever this vehicle is. And then they just start doing their thing. It goes flying off. And who do we see? Of course. Fucking Dom.
I
What's
have
up?
it.
Let's go.
It in my notes. I said, that's how you want to be introduced, with a dang old side of a train ripping off to reveal you. That was awesome.
I mean, the other dudes literally like pancaked so they wouldn't get like hit, and then he's just standing there like, what's up? Let's do this.
The only thing he was missing was a catchphrase right there.
Oh my god. It wasn't family time.
Yeah, well, not quite.
It was heist time.
Yeah.
But, like, they realize that they're stealing from the FBI. They're stealing cars that have been seized. And that is insane. That they're just like, you know, we could take these. They'll be cool.
It was such a kind of, again, this is where like physics brain shut off, can't do things. The way they just like drag these cars like directly off the train, and then boom, take off. I'm like, all right, that's cool. When Mia gets yanked off and she's sitting there and she, you know, takes her car and peels off in the wrong direction, and the guy's like, where's she going? And I'm thinking to myself, like, you are literally in the middle of nowhere. She could be going anywhere. Like, just because she turns around and goes the other way, like, that doesn't mean anything.
She wasn't following protocol.
Right. What protocol? If she would have kept going that way, she would have went off a cliff. Which, listen, I don't know how they shot this. I genuinely am extremely curious as to how they shot this, because when they drive this car off of a cliff, it genuinely looks like Vin Diesel and what's his face?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, thank you. They look like they are literally like lifting out of that seat and jumping out.
Dude, the way that like Brian was like holding on to it, and then he just stands up while the car is falling down.
Yes.
And then they like bloop, they just jump off like they're freaking Mario. No. You can't. No, absolutely not. You would be dead. Any other normal people, dead. But then, of course, you know, they get seized by the
cartel.
Yeah.
Which, why was the cartel just sitting there waiting at the bottom of this ravine?
Maybe that's their spot, dude. I don't
Maybe.
know. I also was like, okay. They just knew what was up.
I guess. I don't know. I have so many questions about that one logistical thing. They ride these cars off a cliff, and before they can even catch their breath, the cartel's right there on the edge of the river. Okay. Shut brain off. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I forgot that this train scene was in this movie. I thought it was in the next one.
Huh.
So I was pleasantly surprised when they were like, I got a job. And then we cut to the train. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But then, of course, they get taken in by the cartel. They get left to just hanging by chains that literally any other person would just be like, well, I guess I'm just going to die here. But no, it's cool because you got superhero Dom breaking his chains just because he's like big buff man. Oof. I think that was one of the scenes where Chris just like looks at me and I was just like dumbfounded look at the TV like, no. There's literally no way. Like, explain yourself.
When he broke the handcuffs, I was like, ooh, new superpower. And I had to change docs real quick. I had to change Google Docs real quick and write down his new superpower. So that brings his total number of superpowers right now. Hold on, we got to keep a running tab of everything that he's done so far. So total number of superpowers 4. Telepathy, because he CSI'd the crime scene last week. Super strength, which we see last week and this week because he caught the engine last week. And this week,
that's right.
he broke handcuffs. So this leads me to believe that last week when he caught that engine, it wasn't pulleys doing what pulleys be doing. It was him and his super strength when he caught that engine. And he has bulletproof bones. So that's 3 altogether. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And it only gets worse from here.
Of course.
I was shocked that these guys have been in Brazil for like a grand total of 5 minutes. And after they escape, they go to their garage, their secret quarters. And I'm like, how do we have a garage in Brazil already?
Oh,
where everyone knows where they're going to meet up.
Mia's getting ready to just like bash someone's head in. And Brian's like, Mia. And she's like, oh my God, my love. And Dom just comes over and is like, just like a Toretto. And I'm like, what?
Well, see, that's what Dom went to jail for.
I know, but like for him to be like, man, you really are my little sister. You were getting ready to bash in some cartel cop head. Who knows what you were getting ready to do, girl?
It runs in the family. But this is like this is the first of the greater overall infrastructure problem that we run into through the rest of these movies, where these guys, like, wherever they go, they have a place, they have cars, unlimited gas, and apparently unlimited funds. Because even though they're talking about, oh man, we're trying to get money and we're just kind of just bumming it around. Come on, man. Like, y'all have like high dollar cars y'all are running around in.
Dude, this is literally like, they are the definition of the people that like, we never have money, so we just gotta go steal money, so we just bum around. But still, they are like buying stuff. And you're like, all right, you're constantly going over here. You can afford all these parts for cars and all this other stuff in police uniforms, but man, we just gotta make some quick cash. But anyways.
And then we are introduced to Special Agent Hobbs, played by The Rock. And when The Rock walks off of that airplane, my man is glistening. They covered him in so much baby oil. and that scene in particular where they're at the airport, that was shot right up the road from me in Macon, Georgia, at the Macon airport.
Oh.
Hooray.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Apparently they over the years they filmed little scenes here and there. Like if there's airport scenes, they film them up in Macon. Except for the 35-mile long runway. Apparently that wasn't at Macon. I'm not real sure. I have to do some digging.
Oh, that's probably Denver airport, which I think is one of the largest airports. Like their runways or something, if I'm correct. That's what I would feel like. is that they just be like, let's do it here. They've got all this room. But dude, The Rock in this entire movie was so extra. Like, everything about him wanted to seem so hard, so tough. And so everything he said, everything he did, I was just like, bro, it's not that serious. Like, I get that you're supposed to be high in command, but like, come on.
He also, and I actually wrote a specific note about this. It's later on down when he's getting briefed. It's a couple more scenes, like I guess after he meets Thor's wife, Officer Neves, who's married to Chris Hemsworth in real life. He's getting briefed by one of his subordinates, and he's like, all right, I got a report. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I got good news and bad news. He's like, I like my dessert first. And he tells him something. And then he's like, all right, now give me the veggies. I'm like, you are talking like you are in the ring right now. Like you are straight up cutting a promo spot for the WWE.
Yeah, no. When I heard him say that, I was like, sure. I guess this is just what's happening. Man. So anyways. I feel like that's all I'm going to have to say about, like, The Rock for the rest of the movie is just like, bro, chill out.
Oh, well.
Cracks me up. I know he continues his run.
Him and Vin both are, like, equally dumb in this movie. Because, like, once we get The Rock and Vin in the scene together, and Vin does this thing throughout this movie, and I was almost in tears laughing so hard at it. But anytime Vin Diesel tries to be super tough, he does like this weird kind of pucker with his lips. And it was so funny to me once I noticed it. And I've seen this movie a lot, and this was the first time I noticed it. And when him and The Rock are face to face at that little car meetup, and Vin Diesel looks like he's about to start laughing, like he has that little weird pucker, and his cheek is like moving just a little bit, like he is fighting with every willpower muscle in his body to keep from laughing, and The Rock is staring him down, just soaked in baby oil and sweat, and I am in tears laughing so hard because I'm like, both of you are trying to be hard and no one is succeeding. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
You mentioning the lip pucker, I could instantly see it in my head. Oh. And on top of like, it's like, as far as like being tough, when Brian gets onto Vince, because Vince didn't show up at the right time or something, and Brian starts accusing Vince. He's like, that was your job, Vince, blah, 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 blah. And, they almost start getting into a fight again. And I wrote in my notes, I said, Brian being tough is always funny because... Oh, man. He just cannot pull it off. And it's wild that we've been talking for like 30 minutes now, and we haven't even got to like the second half of this movie. We have not even got to the part where we're like, cool, we got to do a heist now. Let's bring everybody in. I think that's the wildest shit. This is like 2 movies that happened in this one. Bro, before the like Rock even gets there, it's like 30 minutes into the like movie, and you're just like, what is going on here? We literally paused it and like had to go do something, and I was like, I thought we've been watching this for like an hour already. Like, so much stuff goes on.
Yeah. And when we get to that big chase in the favelas, I was just amazed because The Rock is a straight up action star in that scene. This man, like, Vin Diesel be damned. The Rock is bursting through windows. When he bursts through the windows and Vin Diesel like looks back with that weird goofy look on his face as he's falling, that's a look of sheer panic because The Rock's 300-pound muscle bulldog self just burst through that window. And man, we are on to something here.
Dude.
And then Officer Neves steals the chain. Oh, not the chain. Not Letty's chain.
Yo. You can't do that. Can't be doing that stuff. As soon as Dom saw it, and he was just like, this bitch. And she, like, knows that it's his, too. And she's just like, let's see what goes on with this.
Yeah.
Mia being pregnant in this movie. Also, the first time that she's like, hey, Brian, I want to tell you something. While he's trying to strip apart a car, while the feds are after them, and, like, that whole scene happened, and then, you know, whatever, Vince comes in. But then she's like, I'm pregnant. And everyone's like, oh my God. We got to start talking about all this family shit.
Okay, so I made a specific note about this because I'm not saying Mia's wrong for telling Brian the way she told him, because Brian was getting ready to go do some other wild shit. Okay, he was clearly about to go and like get into some more fuckery, which they eventually do anyway, so I guess whatever. But for her to be like, hey, I'm pregnant, I'm pretty sure in her brain she's like, I have to tell him this now, or he is going to do some nonsense. Some more like, he's going to jump off another cliff with my brother, and I can't have that.
Excuse me, father of my child, I would like you to stay here. Thank you. Do not go running off. But building the crew up?
Hold on. I don't want to overlook this chronologically.
Go for it. What we got?
In the back of your brain.
Yes.
Remember that scene where Dominic Toretto and Brian are talking about their fathers.
Yes.
That's going to come into play in like 4 weeks from now.
Oh, goodness.
Just remember that scene that you've already forgotten about. It was a throwaway scene. No one remembers it until they had to. And you're like, wait a second, that didn't even make any sense. Because I know. I just want you to remember that scene. And also because we're injecting this directly into our veins now. You don't have to wait another decade before that scene, that innocuous scene, pays off. So remember that. There's certain parts now where I'm going to, as we're going through, I'm going to be like, remember this scene.
Okay.
So, yes, like you were saying, we get the team together, baby. Woo!
What a team. What a team. First of all, Han, alive?
Yes.
Question mark. So once again, my brain is trying to be like, where does this fit in? Where is Tokyo Drift in correlation to this movie? But I guess I just got to turn that off. Because my man's alive.
He
I ain't
is.
gonna complain.
Yep.
Let's be real.
You got to shut it off. It'll all make sense. And if it doesn't, I'll help explain it to you. But they're giving a little bit of hints here and there.
Okay,
about like what's going on. So, you'll get there.
Sounds good.
I love that we got everybody, that we're get everybody back. I love that Ludacris is back.
Luda.
He is by far my favorite one of the crew, and especially in this movie because he is just absolutely charming. He is a fun dude. He just seems like he is just genuinely enjoying what he's doing. Just happy to be a part of like hanging out with all these people. It's great.
He,
I
he
love
just
me
wants to
some
make him
Ludacris.
some money so he can open up his little shop that
Yeah,
people don't get ripped off at.
that's right. No,
But then Rome was over there like, man, that's some stupid ass shit. Sorry you got dreams.
yeah. And
Oh.
I love when they're like assembling the crew and they cut to Dom and Brian. They're like, all right, we need someone who could do this and someone who could do this. And they're like, we need 2 drivers that can't lose.
We already got those.
We already got them. And in my mind, I'm like, because the contract won't let them lose. And when Roman meets Gisele for the first time,
Man.
what the fuck, Roman? How did that even get past the script? Someone wrote that on a script, and Tyrese was like, yes, I will say that. What in the hell?
Shoot, I don't even know. Because when I saw I was like, all right. He really going for it. He ain't playing. Dude.
But having everyone there, this is the family. This is the family that we see for just about all the rest of the movies. So
All right.
get used to these people. And as they start kind of hatching their plans, they pull a Joker. They go to one of the Reyes' hideouts. They burn the money. Real Joker-esque, and I'm surprised that Roman, who usually is the comic relief in scenes like this, where he wasn't just like, oh man, come on, man, we got to burn all this money. He just sitting there staring at it, and I guess yeah,
that he's not having like a mental breakdown of like, hey, wait a minute, man, I could use that. I feel like that would be like his normal thing to just be like, oh shit, but I need that. I gotta get out of here. But where's the safest place to put your drug cartel money?
in a police station.
Of course. And for some reason, the police will just be like, yes, sir, we've got you. All of our cops are on it.
Yeah, well, they're all crooked. That's the reason he got Officer Neves. The Rock got Officer Neves because, she's not a crooked cop.
Crooked.
But when they put all that money in that police station, it went from Mission Impossible to Mission freaking Insanity. Dumb Roman. God. This is so insane. It's so funny to me that the catchphrases that they said in these movies, like the Mission freaking Insanity, and there was another one where the end of the movie where Dom is stuck with the safe and he's trying to cut Brian loose. He's like, it was always part of the plan. Like, come on, man. Are we just trying to insert catchphrases here?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what movies like this are made of. Just catchphrases. And big explosions and destroying stuff. That's what matters most. Dude, what is this technology that they were using that Hobbs was just like, zoom in on it.
Enhance.
Hyper focus. Do all this stuff. Look, they're wearing masks, but somehow we can still pull it up. Look at all these. They're now on the FBI's most wanted. And everyone's just like, what? How'd they get all of us? You can try and change your name. You can try and do this, but we gonna find you. Okay. Makes me scared.
I love that you brought that up because in my notes, I just wrote enhance because that is all they did. I hate that so much in a movie. And you're right. This is absurd technology. Oh, man. In like 3 movies, I want you to tell me how, looking back, how ridiculous this scene is and if it still is as ridiculous. So,
Oh
yeah.
boy. Well, it's okay.
when we get back to the garage and Ludacris and Tyrese and Paul Walker are, I think they're just looking through the computer.
What, with the little car robot?
With the little cart, yes.
Yeah.
They get the little cart, and Tyrese and Ludacris and Paul Walker are all just sitting there like kind of bullshit, like they're clearly just acting in front of a camera. These three guys seem like they have a genuine friendship with each other. Like they're all just kind of sitting there just shit-talking each other, and the cameras were rolling. And
yeah.
I loved it. Just true friendship. And honestly, I think I really would have enjoyed a movie with just them three. Like I guess we did kind of get that, but like this version of them, not Too Fast, Too Furious, you know? Mm-hmm. So.
Nah, they were pretty cool in this movie. Yeah.
And Ludacris, this is his role for the rest of the franchise, where it is just spitting technobabble. Nonsensical technobabble and delivering all of this exposition, and it's all explained away with, how do you know this? And it's just, I had a life before I knew you. Cool. I don't need any more explanation. You speak that shit and relay it back to us. That's all you do. And that's what he does the rest of the franchise, and he is perfect at it. So yes.
The two dudes, dudes that talk Spanish, I think they were in the last movie.
Yes.
Chris and I were like, we don't even know their names. The last movie, they barely, really got talked to.
Right.
And now they're just, a part of the crew, and the two of them are constantly, bickering with each other, and the one guy's always like, man, you're so negative. And then they go into the bathroom, where the bathroom has just exploded, and the one guy's just like, man, stop being so negative. Who are you guys? You guys are just constantly here, just doing, your own little bits, and I kind of like it. I just like these two just being, their own little, they are the main characters of their own little show that they're running.
You know, they do kind of give off that energy.
Absolutely.
So I've made a very specific note at this point in my notes that we are an hour in, and this is the first time we get a race in a Fast and Furious, in Fast 5. Or we go to a race. And I think the only reason for this scene right here is to get gratuitous booty shots.
Well, yeah, it's not a Fast and Furious movie if you don't get,
Right. And then they talk all this trash, and we don't even see the freaking race. They just show back up at the hideout with a new car. And I was so mad because I thought we were going to get a race, just a dumb race, and we didn't. We did not.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, we only get one race in this entire movie, and it's between our four friends. 5? No, our 5 friends.
No, it's 4.
Was
it's
it 4?
Brian, Dom, Han, and Rome. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember if Ludacris was there. But when they raced those race cars, that was the only time that we get a legitimate race in this movie. Other than that, all of the rest of the car stunts is just action scenes, which is so wild to me.
Can we talk about where they're all just hanging out, doing their thing, and then the fucking FBI comes up, and Hobbs is like, Toretto, you're under arrest. To which Dom is like, I don't feel like I'm under arrest. And Brian is like, I also don't feel like I'm under arrest. Who are you people that you're just like, nah? And on top of that, FBI has guns pointed at you guys. But then the Brazilian dudes around are just like, we also have guns. Back down. What? Explain.
That's right, because Dominic Toretto is El Chapo.
I mean...
He is an international, I can't say drug lord, kingpin. He is a kingpin, an international kingpin.
Just knows how to work it all, I guess.
I guess.
He just gets his little crew, gets the people he needs to know, and he's good to go.
And also in this scene, he gives like that great line. He goes, "Come on, man, what are you gonna do? This is Brazil." The absolute worst line read I think of this entire movie, when he just spreads his arms out and says that. I'm like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah. Man, you know.
And why is this female cop wearing Dominic Toretto's chain as they're going to arrest Dominic Toretto?
Let him know.
What?
Maybe she thought that they were actually going to arrest him.
Protocol.
Hey, that was her chain. She won it fair and square when Dom saved her and then was just like, yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm going to head out real quick. I'll see you later. I don't know what to tell you, man. But, let's think about this. What is the time frame of this movie? Because you guys are talking about this big heist that you're going to do, but then y'all are also just, like, screwing around, having driving races in police cars. You're also, like, continuing to try and do that little car montage where you're trying to miss the little camera thing. There was a lot going on for it to be like, we got to get this done. They know we're on to them. They're on to us, that we're on to them.
Yeah, but I didn't feel this was egregious as Tokyo Drift and Fast and Furious, where they're literally like rebuilding cars in a quick montage. Like, this one is them just trying to like hammer out the driving thing. So I'm like, okay, cool, maybe a day or two, I guess, if you really put in the work. But, we've already established that time is real loosey-goosey in this universe.
Yes.
And when Vince shows back up and he's like, hey, man, can I help? And Dom's like, there's always room for family. I mean...
I put it in my notes. Of course I did. And then right after that, The Rock and his crew burst into the hideout and like rams his Charger. And Vin Diesel's like, oh, you're going to pay for that. And The Rock gets out and they start fighting. And I literally wrote this verbatim in my notes. I said, God damn it, this movie is great. The Rock is a perfect heel when he smashes that Charger. Mwah, chef's kiss. Dude, watching that fight scene was just insane because they're just both such big, beefy men, just like doing their thing. And it's just like, this is all that's happening right now. Like, I think everyone's just like, let's just watch this. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, because yes, that's exactly what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, they're all just like, we just gotta watch this. And, then you get taken into custody. You start driving around super fast.
Why are they driving so fast?
So reckless. And just like Rio is packed with people. And so they're driving down these tiny little dirt roads just flying. And then the way that Hobbs goes, ambush! And then that's when, they're like, oh, it's time to start shooting. Because he sees one guy on top of a roof. The way he said it just cracked me up.
Well, to be fair, that dude shot at them with a fucking rocket launcher.
Well, I know that, but he said it before, like, it got shot. But it's
That's
not
true.
like he called it over the radio to let the other two people, like, the other two cars that were driving know. He was just like, ambush. Yeah, that whole scene was insane. The way that The Rock, at one point, his body just, like, flew backwards. Chris and I both laughed at it. Because it's like he was almost, like, floating on air the way his... Because you see him from the back, and then he's just, like, falling backwards. I don't know. It was wild. You know, there's 2 grenades going off on one man. And then somehow they convince this woman to just, like, untie them. Untie us. We can also shoot.
But if Vin Diesel was so strong, how come he just didn't break the handcuffs?
Maybe they had superhuman strength ones. You know?
Maybe.
They brought those to Brazil. They knew what they were up against.
It is wild to think that we're now getting ambushed. Okay, we are I guess just outside of the favelas. We're getting ambushed. Vince gets shot. Okay, Vince passes away. We know that he's dead now because we saw the body. Okay. And now The Rock has decided that he's going to help Dom like pull the heist on Reyes, because Reyes' crew killed his men. Doesn't that make The Rock a criminal now? An international criminal?
No. It's just like how Brian also, Brian's also not a criminal. They do it for the family. Yeah, no, when Hobbs just joins, I was like, yep, okay, because this makes sense. Let's do it.
And the thing is that Hobbs is like the guy who rams his super enforced truck in the police station and burst out the wall. And I'm like, dude, he is a federal agent starting shit in another country. What are we doing with Hobbs? And
he's balling, you know.
And here, all right, so now this picks up like the big action scene in this movie, which is a wild thing to say because we have been talking continuously about all the nonsense that's happened in this movie so far. But Raven, I want you to tell me what you thought when they hooked up some supercharged Mustangs to this 10-ton safe and started slinging this thing around, quote unquote, Brazil like a damn wrecking ball. What was your impression of that?
Bro, that shit was just rolling and slamming into everything. I don't know, man. I was just like, okay, sure, I'm along for the ride. I don't know how all of this is just gonna work. They're throwing out spikes and you guys are like, let's just take a little quick right. Let's slow down. All right, now you go forwards and I'll push it backwards as I drive backwards. Dude, this whole scene was just chaotic. And at some point, Brian is just like chuckling at all this destruction. Like he's just like, haha, this is silly. This is fun. I like the part where Mia literally goes, did you just hit a bank? Hit a bank with a safe. Man.
Yeah, and we don't talk about the people that are in the bank. I'm sure that they had to have like seriously hurt or maybe even killed somebody with just slinging this huge safe around.
Oh yeah, there's people running all over the place. You hear screaming. They're literally just like sideswiping and banging up people's cars.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Public property, everything. It was nuts.
Yeah.
And then the part where they're about to get on the bridge, and then Han like comes in so smooth and just like beep, hit this cop car, and then Rome has to come and say some dumb shit like, I don't even remember what he says.
Oh, what did he
But
say?
he said like two different things, and then like smash, smash. Roman was just on his shit while he was over there. He's just having a good time. Because, you know, he used to do the little demolition derby car thing.
That's right.
When he was living.
He did.
So he's probably just like, this is just like live back home in that little camper I had. Good times, good times.
And I will give credit where credit's due that Jeremy Lin was crashing cars all over Puerto Rico to film this scene. I mean, it was phenomenal.
Man.
He was crashing more cars than they did in the Blues Brothers. Just boom, boom. Like they were coming around the corner and just smashing the shit out of him. It was awesome.
Bro, the budget for just cars for them to just smash and destroy this movie had to be insane.
I want to see if I can find the budget. The budget was an estimated $125 million.
Jesus.
It made $209 million in the U.S. and Canada. It made $86 million its opening weekend, and it grossed $626 million worldwide. So just over $500 million worldwide. Yeah.
Oh, quick fact. Number of cars destroyed, 260.
Wow.
That's so much.
Insane. Insanity.
But of course, we had to throw in that NOS to make sure that you can just your way into a whole oncoming traffic of cops and everything else going on while you were the only person that is pulling this massive safe.
Wheelie. He did a wheelie again.
Man, it killed me. As soon as I saw it, I was like, no. That's
Is it even a Fast and Furious movie if Dom is not popping a wheelie in his Charger?
It's so beautiful. It brings a tear to your eye.
Also, as all of this stuff is going on, another two scenes that you need to remember. One, when the safe was pulled out of the precinct. Remember that scene, and remember this bridge scene. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say right now.
Oh, God. So much to store in my little peanut brain.
So much. When The Rock gets out of his car to, like, confront Dom, and he just walks past Reyes and just puts, like, 3 bullets in him. I'm like, Rock! Mr. Special Agent Hobbs, you are a lawman who is in Brazil.
He's over it.
Yeah, he's over it. Sir.
He's on his Paul Walker shit. Where Brian was just like, you know what? Sure. This is just what I do now. Because, I mean, he was in the FBI, and then at the very end of the movie, the man was over there breaking out Dom from prison.
I guess.
So there's something about Dom. You know what? This can be another one of his, like, superpowers, is that he just, like, attracts people to just be like, you know what? I'd do anything for you. Does he have, like, some Medusa, like, or some other, like, seduction goddess type thing that's just like, it's me. What's up?
You know what?
Come join.
I'm going to add it to the list. That he has the extreme power of persuasion.
But it's not like he even persuades them. The Rock literally was just like, I'm with you, Toretto. I'll ride with you. Who asked you? Why are you still here?
Oh, and before he lets him go, he's like, I'll see you soon. And he's like, no, you won't. And all I'm thinking to myself is, you're coming back for the next movie. Yes, you will. Yes, you absolutely will.
But we don't know that.
We don't know that.
Because we're watching this real time in 2011.
Right. So they open up the safe. All the money's gone. Or there's no money in there. It turns out it was a fake. It was the fake safe. And then they go back and show how they did the switch. What'd you think of that? Or at this point, were you just like, I'm not even surprised at this point?
You know, you always gotta keep that little card up your sleeve. Never let them know your next move, you know? Yeah, no. They were thinking this whole thing through. While everyone was like, Dom, we can't do it. Tom was like, I don't know about this we shit. I can do it. I could do it all by myself.
Have you ever seen Ocean's 11?
You know what? I'll just pull the whole safe out by myself. I don't need any of y'all.
Just give me a Dodge Charger with nitrous. Nitromethane.
Bro, all he needs is just like to find a way that he can just inject the NOS into himself, and that's all he needs.
Oh, and listen,
He'll just get
if
extreme humor strength.
If Fast 10 Part 2 comes out, and he does something dumb like that where he just injects NOS directly into his veins or something, and he gets like super strong, he's like, ah! I honestly think I will stand up and give that movie a standing ovation. Because at this point, the one thing I want him to do, he hasn't done yet, and that is an underwater car chase scene. So
surprising.
What's that?
That's surprising.
I know. I really wish we had the perfect opportunity in Fast 10 to do it, and we didn't. But, so, we see where the money is. Ludacris cracks the safe. Everyone's happy. Boom. You know, we start cutting to what everyone's doing with their money. Ludacris opened up his shop. Tyrese pulls up in the fancy car with a beautiful woman.
Of course.
And of course, Ludacris being Ludacris shows up with the exact same car with two beautiful women. And I love it. I love Han and Gisele's relationship.
Yes.
They are adorable.
When he first sees her do the whole test, he's just like, I think I'm in love. And then from there, I was like, all right, I support this union. So sweet. And
it's not overly forced. Like Roman coming in there going, hey, nice legs. It's none of that. And, even when she was walking around in that bikini trying to get old boy's handprint, he was very justly being like, wow, she's beautiful. But there was no smart comments or anything like that. I love it. I'm totally on board with it. I hope they have a very long and healthy relationship, but we never know.
Oh, he's just going to be snacking on chips the whole time. I love that came back up and that she called him out on it.
She called him out on it.
Yeah, I guess she used to be like a 2-pack a day, no filter. Like when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes some sense. I love that.
And then we cut to Brian and Mia. Brian and very pregnant Mia walking on the beach. They get up to their house. Everything's happy. It's great. And Dom pulls up with Officer Neves. How? Why?
Oh, you know.
Is that part of like the magic of that chain, where like you put on the chain and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, Dominic Toretto, I love you.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's his power. The power of just like, what's up? I'm your ride or die now.
Yep.
That's all he is. They get one look at that man and they're like, okay, I will follow you for the rest of my life. Dom could easily start a cult. And you know what? His cult is called family. Oh my God, I've infiltrated it.
Oh, I love it. And then we get credits, and we get a great mid-credits, post-credits scene. Please tell me you saw that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, as I was watching it, I knew it was coming, and I was like, please, please, Raven, do not turn this movie off when the credits start rolling.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, Raven!
I think, like, Chris was like, oh, I think that there's one, and then I don't know what happened.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to mark the tape right here, because you have to watch this. Oh, I got to find it so quick.
Hold on,
I put it in the streaming chat. Watch that. This is a great live reaction of one of the biggest twists and turns in this whole entire franchise.
Ooh, Berlin. Hey. The music that started playing after that was Ludacris music, which was hilarious because, of course, you hear Luda. Hey, I'm gonna be real honest with you about something.
Yeah?
It wasn't the last movie. I think it was after we watched the fourth movie that Chris, I don't remember what he did. He looked at something that was looking into one of the other movies, and I was like, is that Han? And he was like, oh shit. Because I think, Letty had passed away. And then I was like, he was like, oh, did you not see Letty as well? And I was like, what the fuck? How are Han and Letty back alive? Interesting. Very interesting. Now I am very confused about where Tokyo Drift really takes place. And then putting it as the third movie is going to fuck with my head so hard.
I'm going to give you a very big piece of advice for the rest of this franchise. And that is, if you do not see a body, they are not dead.
What are you people burying?
I don't know. Apparently memories. I have no idea. This is the wildest franchise because no one is ever dead unless they have like a proper death. Like Vince is dead because we watched Vince die right in front of our eyes. Like he said his last, Dom, you gotta see the baby. We named him Nick after you, Dominic. And he was like, dead. And listen, that's how we know Vince is dead. We mourned his body in a garage. We gave him the proper Jedi burial in the garage. Yeah.
Damn.
Other than that, later on in the franchise, if you do not see a body,
okay.
Yes.
Because, interesting. Because I wasn't going to say anything about, like, seeing the, like, whatever video or poster that we saw where it had Han and Letty in it, and I was just like, I'm just going to pretend maybe it's like a weird flashback, and Chris was like, oh no, she's on several of the upcoming posters, so if you looked at anything. I was like, what?
I am trying so desperately hard not to like ruin things for you because we take so many wild twists and turns. And for me to say something spoils it, So I'm trying to be especially careful about what I talk and how I talk about things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I am going blind into these. Once again, I am not looking up anything before I watch any of this. I'm just going for it. So, this is interesting. At least, I'm not just starting the next movie and Letty's just like alive and doing whatever. And then I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
At least they have that little like teaser. Interesting. Okay. Noted.
All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about Fast and Furious before we move on?
I don't know, man.
All right.
There's so much crazy stuff that, like, what do you even pick apart at this point? So no, we can drive off into the sunset with our $1 million and hang out on the whatever beach of whatever continent, country, you name it, that you want to do.
Indecipherable, anonymous, beautiful beachside grotto. Not grotto. It's not a grotto. I don't know. Beautiful getaway on a deserted beach with me and my woman. Oh.
Child.
All right. So, Raven, moving on. This is my favorite part of the week, where we talk about what we be thankful for the little things in our life that make us happy. Raven, tell me, words hard now. Please tell me what has made you happy this past week.
So, within the past week, a certain somebody has had a birthday.
Whoa, whoa.
And that certain somebody no longer wants to celebrate their birthday on the day of their birthday. Because February 14th is such an undesirable birthday. For those that don't know. So your brother, I told him, we'll just celebrate it, whatever, this weekend. And so he gets off work early on Thursday, gets home at like 8:30. He brought us like dinner home. And I had just been sitting on the couch and was watching like some TikTok, and I don't know what it was, but I had just been like slightly emotional by it, and he like walks in and then puts the food on the counter and then goes back outside. And so I'm like getting the food, and he comes up and he's got like something behind his back. And I was like, "You good?" And he goes, "So I know that we're celebrating your birthday this weekend. I made you a card." Ark, I'm gonna have to send you the photos of the cards. Because when he handed it to me, and I look at the front of it, where apparently he made it in Microsoft Word, but it's all like he drew himself and me and the three of our dogs, and a car, of course, doing a Tokyo drift that's rainbow. And I just open it, and it says happy birthday in rainbow, but he somehow messed up the A. And then you close the card, and it's like, I don't even remember what the quote-unquote brand of his, it was like Drift LLC or something like that.
He posted this in the other Discord.
Mark, I stood there and cried for a solid 10 minutes because I couldn't stop laughing. And it was so hard to breathe because it was so funny.
The Drift King Productions.
Drift King Productions, that's what it is. Man, he was like, if you look here, you can notice that, because he drew Boo in a diaper, and Boo's favorite little thing to do is to somehow still wiggle out just enough of the little tip of himself, and just pee on the carpet still. And we're like, how do you keep doing this? We literally like snatch that waste in these diapers, and he still like wiggles it out. So of course he colored that yellow, and man, it took me out so hard. But yeah, and then we went and did some plant shopping for my birthday, and I got some new little pals that I'm super excited for. And like I said, we went hiking, so it's just been a really nice little week, even if I'm not the biggest fan of this time of the year, just because of that one specific day. Chris knows, and he made sure that we had a nice time celebrating it. We went to this like really nice little Italian spot that he's never been to here in Knoxville, which basically just used to be a house, and then they just turned it into a restaurant, and it's so tiny. They literally hang up like curtains in between like each little sections of people sitting, so you're like, yeah, you've got privacy. I was listening to the whole conversation of the people behind me, and we were cracking up at that. Yeah, so that's the things that have made me happy, is just a whole bunch of chaos and nature. How about you? What's made you happy this week, Mark?
Oh man. Yesterday I got to take Sasha to the dog park and meet up with a friend of mine, and her dog. And she has a mini pit bull. And every time I go over to my friend's house, she has a like bi-monthly, like we get together like twice a month, and we'll do like a game night or craft night or something like that, and hang out with a bunch of our friends. And this little pit bull always has so much energy. And I said, you know what? We need to introduce her and Sasha and see how these two get along. They'll probably just run around and wear each other out, and it'll be so much fun. I took Sasha to the dog park to meet River, the pit bull mini pit, and Sasha ran around full bore almost for an entire hour. 60 solid minutes of just running after one thing and then running after another and running after another. And this dog would run to they had like the soccer ball. I kicked the soccer ball. She'd go running after it, pick it up, bring it back to me. And after about us being there for about 10 minutes, this guy showed up with a black lab, and he had like one of those tennis ball thrower arms, the little plastic deals.
Yeah.
And he would whip that ball, and the black lab would take off, and Sasha would not chase the ball. She would go to chase after the lab because she saw the lab was running. And that dog, woof, gone. And then come back. And this guy was like not really paying attention. He just would get it and just whip it out, whip the ball out there. And the second that black lab took off, Sasha would drop everything she was doing, woo, go, and then would come back to me, get it, because they had like this big water spigot there, and had a big like metal bowl and for the dogs to drink out of. She'd go over there, drink a little bit of water, right back at it, start chasing dogs around. And I've never in my entire life seen a dog go as hard in the paint as this dog did yesterday. And when it was time to go, she was still going. I got her in the truck, and we're sitting there like just about to back out of the spot, and she sees the guy throw the ball and the lab run across the area, and she is just a chirping like that super high pitched bulldog yelp, because she wants to get out there and play. And I'm like, how can you still have energy? How? And then she came home and she just acted normal. Like nothing. I couldn't believe it, but it was a good time. I enjoyed watching. I have yet to find the ends of my dog's stamina. I will find it one day, and I don't know how or why. I don't know how I'll do it, but I will find it. So yeah.
Maybe you need to get you know how people get the treadmills and then like hook their dogs up to it, or their dogs just like sprint super hard. Dude,
I was thinking about
she
that.
would be so beefed up if you got her one of those.
She's like 50 pounds of solid muscle as it is.
Yeah. It's a good time.
We have a friend who does frisbee catching with dogs, and I bet you she could probably be my gateway into the other thing. But I want to get Sasha to do the thing where they jump off the end of a dock and see how far they can jump.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do that with Sasha, just because I want to see.
It's fun to watch.
I want to see how far she can go, because whenever I'll get out in the backyard and I'll like hold her by her collar and I'll point, because we have one of those, playhouses, the wooden playhouses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where I suspect at one point a swing was, or I'm not really sure what was there. But anyway, there was like a little eyelet, and we have done hang like a climbing rope from there. And now that has turned into a Sasha tug of war toy. So I will stand at one end of the yard, and I'll grab her by her collar, and I'll get down real low. And I'll be like, Sasha, you see that? You see the rope down there? See it? All right, you ready? On your mark, get set, go. And I'll let go of her collar and give her like just the slightest little push. And when I tell you this dog done turned into a bullet, man, she's super low and she is just as fast as them paws can take her, just moving and just jump and hang onto this rope and shake and just have the time of her life. And I want to see how far she can jump. So, yeah. Once it warms up a little bit, we're doing that for sure.
Nice.
Oh, Raven, please tell everybody where they can find you on the internets.
I hang out on the internets at Twitter at spooky_Raven. I also like to hang out some on Instagram at That's So Raven Ellis. You can find this cute little podcast called The Nerd for No Reason on a lot of different social medias. Just look it up. See what you can find. We hang out there. Mark, where are you located on this interweb?
I am located at all major media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, wherever, at Turtles Do It. Special note for all of those listening, when this podcast drops, we have a Discord server.
Whoop whoop.
Hit us up. We are actually live streaming this right now in one of our channels. We have big things planned. Most importantly, because I'm going to start promoting this now, next Saturday, which will be Saturday the 24th. Saturday, the 24th of February, we are going to try and group watch Fast 6. We are going to try to make this a big thing. Me and Raven are going to be here. We're going to watch it with everybody, and then we are going to go right out of that and do the podcast, a instant live reaction with everyone that's in here. We're going to try to talk to the audience a little bit, or at least take messages, questions, or whatever from the audience. I think it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be so much fun. So come and join us on the Discord servers. The invite code and link and all of that stuff are on all of our social medias. So go and check it out. Hit us up. We love you. Rate, subscribe, review, all of that good stuff. Raven, thank you for watching these movies with me. I'm so happy that you are now enjoying the absurdity that is the Fast and Furious franchise.
It's a good time. It's a wild time. It's a Fast and Furious time. That's for real.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you you put me on this little road show. Because it is something.
Oh, man. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with all of that being said, go and do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go ingest all the super cool medias, and we'll see you again here next week at the Nerd for No Reason podcast, where we live stream Fast and Furious 6.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
6 fast, 6 furious. Whoop, whoop. Yes.
6 Dwayne The Rock Johnsons fighting 6 Vin Diesels.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure it's the next movie where the Rock's arms are so big it looks like they're just about to give birth to little rocks. They're huge. His arms are so freaking big. It's crazy.